Please proceed, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege. For the fifth time, the Philippines has received the Dirty Ashtray Award. The reason is we were blocking global tobacco control efforts. When I say we, it is a great embarrassment to me, Your Honor, that the representatives for us, for the Philippines, stood before a global audience of mostly health advocates, and they advocated for the tobacco industry, Mr. President. Global Alliance for Tobacco Control again awarded the notorious Dirty Ashtray to the Philippine delegation on the last day of the 10th session of the Conference of Parties, otherwise known as COP10, to the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, otherwise known as WHO FCTC, held in Panama City from February 5 to 10. The FCTC is a treaty negotiated under the auspices of the World Health Organization, created in response to the tobacco epidemic. The treaty has 168 signatories and 180 parties, including the Philippines. The Philippines ratified the FCTC on February 22, 2005. According to the WHO, the FCTC provides a global response to the global tobacco epidemic. It described the FCTC as an evidence-based treaty that reaffirms all people's right to the highest standard of health. Regular sessions of the COP are held every 2 years. The Philippine delegation this year was given the Dirty Ashtray Award for its brazen use of tobacco industry tactics to dispute and delay throughout COP10. According to the Southeast Asia Tobacco Control Alliance, otherwise known as SIATCA, after almost 3 days of deliberation, parties failed to achieve consensus to establish an expert group to facilitate implementation of FCTC Article 9 and 10 on the regulation and disclosure of the contents and emission of tobacco products, with the Philippines joining a minority of parties blocking consensus. What is Article 9 and Article 10? Article 9 deals with the testing and measuring of the content and emission of tobacco products and their regulation. My dear colleagues, mga kababayan, sino ba may ayaw na itest at sukatin ang laman ng tobacco products? Bakit ayaw? Bakit ayaw ipatest? Ano ba laman nun na ayaw ipaalam sa atin? Bakit naman tayo may delegation na hinaharang ang information na makakasakit sa ating mga kabataan? Hinaharang dahil meron silang nilalagay doon na alam nilang nakakasama sa kabataan. Imagine, gano'n na nga ginagawa nila, dirty tactics, sinuportahan pa ng gobyernong to. Sinama pa sila at sinuportahan pa ang ganitong mga pangyayari. Nakakahiya, Mr. President. Now, what is Article 10? Article 10 deals with the disclosure of information on such content and emission to government authorities and the public. Disclosure of information. Ang nais lang naman ipaglaban ng health advocates is kayong mga tobacco product sellers, distributors, tobacco companies. Legal naman ang pagbebenta nyo. Pinayagan naman kayo magbenta sa aming bansa. Pero you must conform to regulation. You must disclose kung ano yung laman ng mga produkto nyo para ma-regulate naman kayo. Dahil kung hindi kayo ma-regulate, paano naman ang mga kabataan? Paano naman din ang may edad na na-addict? Dahil nga may mga laman yan na nakaka-addict at nakakasama sa katawan. Why in the world would we send a delegation that would prevent full disclosure of harmful ingredients in tobacco products, including vapes and e-cigs? Why? Because we do not have the political will to fight against these tobacco companies. Nakakahiya. It's bad enough that these tobacco companies are allowed to get away with it, but it is even worse and unacceptable that sinasamahan pa sila, inimbita pa na sumama dito sa conference na to. Ang sumasama dapat sa conference na to, health advocates. Kung gusto naman ng tobacco companies na fair lang ang turing sa kanila, makapagbenta sila, nakakapagbenta naman sila ang gusto natin. And sinamahan pa sila, holding hands pa sila ng ating mga government officials to attend this international conference. I have no words, Mr. President. It is an embarrassment. According to the reports, the Philippines proposed a compromise option that further muddled the discussion and caused more delays. My God, my Lord, bakit ba kayo pinanganak at nagdala pa kayo ng ganyan tao sa isang health conference na manggugulo lang? With no more time left to continue deliberations, the agenda item was deferred to COP11. Every delay is a win for the tobacco companies. Every delay is on the hands of our government officials who allowed it, who held hands with these people and allowed it and are probably cheering na na-accomplish nila yan. Babalik ko, ano yung na-accomplish nila? Ginulo nila yung mga debates para yung simpleng requirement na ilista nila at isubmit nila yung ingredients na laman ng kanilang produkto, ibibigay nila, hindi nila magawa, nang gulo pa sila. Dinelay pa nila, dinamay pa nila yung buong mundo. Nakakahiya, Mr. President. Former Health Secretaries Alexander Padilla and Esperanza Cabral have said that this is alarming and that the Philippine delegation should take this dishonor as a wake-up call. Hindi lang wake-up call, Mr. President. Ikulong na yung mga taong yan. Budget pa tayo ng budget. Our chairman of the Committee on Health is here. Budget pa tayo ng budget. Debate pa tayo ng debate na increase yung budget ng healthcare. But on the other hand, sabay-sabay sumasakay ng eroplano at nag-a-attend ng health conference para guluhin yung health conference na yan at para i-dilute yung mga provisions na makakapagbigay lang naman ng information sa ating lahat. O kaya tuloy maraming naniniwala, nakakabuti sa kanilang vape. Kasi hindi naman binibigyan ng public, hindi pinapaalam sa public kung ano yung laman yan. At ito, harap-harapan na ipaglalaban nila na itago yung information. 11 former health and education officials have urged the Philippine representatives to the COP10 of the WHO FCTC to take a stand against e-cigarettes or vapes amidst an increase in its use among the Filipino youth. Dr. Jaime Galvestan, DOH Secretary 1995, Dr. Carmencita Riodica, 2001 to 2005, Dr. Esperanza Cabral, DSWD Secretary 2005 to 2009, and DOH Secretary 2010, Dr. Pauline Rosel Ubial, DOH Secretary 2016 to 2017, Attorney Alexander Padilla, DOH Undersecretary 2001 to 2009, Dr. Susan Mercado, DOH Undersecretary 1998 to 2001, Dr. Madeline Valeria, DOH Undersecretary 2012 to 2013, and former Education Department officials, Brother Armin Luistro, DepEd Secretary 2010 to 2016, and Attorney Alberto Muyop, DepEd Undersecretary 2010 to 2016. I can only speak also for former Secretary Liling Briones because she had made statements about this in the past when I handled the budget of DepEd budget. The Philippines received its Dirty Ashtray Award at COP4 in 2010. But at least it was redeemed the next year, and they received an Orchid Award at COP5 when it excluded tobacco industry representatives from its delegation. Yun lang, Mr. President. Bakit ka naman magdadala ng delegation ng industriyang nire-regulate doon? Bakit? Dalhin nyo sa trade conference, walang problema. Pero ba't mo dadalhin sa isang health conference tapos magpapadikta ka? Yan ang ginagawa po natin, Mr. President. Nakakahiya. At COP9 in 2021, the Philippines was given 3 Dirty Ashtray Awards. These awards are given to companies and governments seen as peddlers of tobacco industry interests. So the Philippines is a peddler of tobacco industry interests. Nagtaka pa ba tayo? Why would we allow it? Wala tayong ginawa kundi ipaglaban ng ating mga kababayan, ipaglaban ng mga kabataan. But we allow government officials to do this right before our very eyes.
Para lagi kang updated. Ako nga pala si Bidaya ng mga oposisyon sa kasalukuyan ko. At sabi nga, galit na galit ang mga dapungan ng Pangulong Duterte. Kung hindi ka pa nakakapag-subscribe, isubscribe mo na yan!